Welcome in, everyone. Welcome back to another great round of The Hop with Gabe, with Steven. Your favorite drinking bros are back with another brewery to feature some more craft beer. We got news and notes to talk about. We're here to make craft beer fun, informative. We're here to include everyone we can. We're so excited you join us on this wonderful Thirsty Thursday, whether you're at the gym or in a jacuzzi or driving to work. Whatever works for you, we're here to drink about it and have a good time. I am Gabe. As always, with me is my buddy Steven. How are we doing?
How we feeling? Doing great. We have a great episode for you guys today. Just one beer. Just one singular beer because we are still hungover from our St. Paddy's Day episode. So no, that's not why we're professionals. But we do only have one beer today, which is fine. It gives us a chance to really break it down, really get into the nitty and gritty of our brewery today, which is Wicked Weed Brewing out of North Carolina. Really cool, fun little brewery. Well, not that little. That's not the right word to use. They're a fun operation. They're one of those craft breweries that are doing everything right. They're doing some experimenting. They're crushing it with the IPAs. They are making a heavy name for themselves, or they have over the past 10 plus years. And we're excited to have been able to finally get our hands on one of their beers and feature them for you.
Asheville, North Carolinians, stand the hell up. Now is your time to shine. Yes, being on the coasts we are at, you'd think it'd be a little easier for me. Not so. This beer was a gift to me, so which I then gifted to Steven. So here we are. We only have the one beer, but who cares? We're going to look for more. We're going to look for different variations of this beer. If you know this brewery, you might already know what we're drinking. We're going to save that for later. And we're ready to get the hell into it.
I was just looking. Is this the first North Carolina beer ever to make its way to the hop? I know we had South Carolina before, but I believe this is our first.
It might be. I think it might be.
Adding to the list of states. Welcome in. So thank you for joining us. Grab a seat, grab a beer of your own.
Yay!
Cozy up. Yay! Let's get into it. We are available to follow on social media. If you're not doing that, please check us out. The Hop, it's the HO Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. You can find us on YouTube as a video show. You can also follow our personals if you are interested. I am at Shakes Beerist. I post about once a year. So if you want to see this year's post, get at it. And Gabe is at Gaberade67, like Gatorade, but with Gabe.
Drink me in, people.
We are on Facebook and all the things. Rate and review the show wherever you listen. Make sure to tell your friends, tell your family, subscribe, follow, whatever they call it on your podcasting platform of choice. But when you review the show, it is really helpful to us. We do read them, we appreciate them, and it helps us make the show better for you, which is what we are always trying to do each and every Thursday. And finally, if you have suggestions or requests for us here at The Hop, you can reach out to us by email or slide into our DMs. But email is the best. That's thehopod@gmail.com. Hit us up.
Let us know what breweries to hit up next. Let us know what breweries to repeat. Let us know, as I mentioned earlier, you'll hear about the beer. If you've had other variations, if you can get other variations, if you can send us other variations, please do so. But let us know. We're here for you guys. We want to know about all of it because we would love to explore this brewery even more after the episode.
All right, let's get into the news.
Beer news.
It is April, and it is kind of spring, which is exciting. That's not beer news. That's just life news.
Did you get pranked on April Fool's Day?
I did not. No,
Okay,
I did
good.
go. I went to a themed party, and as I was dressing up for it, I thought, I really hope that this is actually a themed party, and I'm not the only one showing up like this. Did you?
Yeah. Not necessarily. I read a few things like on Instagram and I was like, oh man, like that happened. And then I was like, wait a second. And so it didn't get by me very far, but you never know. People get pranked. So just putting the feelers out.
Just heads up. Let's see. So what's going on in the world? This isn't really beer news, but e-commerce platform Drizzly did lay off about 100 people last week, which is news for Drizzly, but more news just in the sense that it's something we've seen across a lot of companies in a wide variety of industries. I mean, NPR did it, Disney's doing it. I mean, it's everyone, not just affecting the beer world, but to those people that lost their jobs, have drinks on us. And yeah, it's just tough. It's the state of the world right now. DG Yingling and Sons. I just wanted to say their name. That's why it's here.
The second I read it, I was like, he's gonna sing it. He always does.
I am. They're running out of beer. They rolled out. I think we had reported on this, or maybe we didn't mention it, but they expanded into the Midwest with their draft beer, and now they're running out of beer. So that's not good. Yingling, overpromising.
Yeah, Yingling, the oldest brewery craft brewery ever. I was recently in Pennsylvania, and they really market it well out there, let me tell you. And so for the oldest brewery, guys, can we show them some love, please? I mean, good Lord.
DG Yingling and Sons. Okay, one more. I just wanted to get it up. All right. Jack's Abbey, a hop OG. They were round like 3, I think, way back in the day. They have a nice newly renovated tap room. That's fun. We wanted to just give some love to that. It's a brand new space. They call it Tradition Meets Tech. And it's got this updated, renovated pilot system. It's just a really cool spot. So if you find yourself in the Framingham area of Massachusetts, you can check out a brand new and improved Jack's Abbey space.
Fun. They have killer lagers.
Killer lagers, only lagers, just exclusively the lagers, which makes them, it's just a really cool thing. It's not something you see very often.
Can I get an IPA? Get the hell out. Whoa.
You can have an IPL. And finally, according to a consulting firm that works in the cocktail business, America has a favorite cocktail. And Gabe, you know what it is. It's the margarita.
Wasting away again, Margaritaville.
Oh, yeah. Bust out. I was going to play some like Cinco de Mayo music, but you went for Jimmy Buffett. Different vibe.
Sorry. We didn't coordinate. My bad.
I love me a margarita. And the thing about the margarita is, unlike other cocktails, it's a year-rounder. So it's popular all the time, which is why it's one of America's favorite cocktails in 2022, according to this consulting firm. Boy, do I love me a marg. I don't know.
I will give Steven his credit. He makes a killer margarita. I don't know all the ingredients in it because, when you see a bartender make a margarita, you think like they have 3 bottles and some lime juice and what have you. Steven's got like 18 bottles back. I don't know what the hell he puts in it, but it's very good and spicy. He can make you a good margarita.
There's a lot of magic happening there. Maybe we'll do a margarita episode for Cinco de Mayo this year.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
That'd be fun.
That. My margarita versus your. Oh man. I would love for you to be able to try my margarita and just be like, Gabe, you need some work.
We got to be in the same place and then have a blind taste test with like some special guests or something. That's the way to do that.
Oh boy. Nervous. Nervous.
Distribution news. Stick with me on this because it's distribution. We don't talk about it very often, but Southern Glazer Wine and Spirits, that is the largest alcohol distributor in the United States. Last week, Politico reported that the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, is opening an investigation into the company for pricing violations. Basically, what they're saying is that Southern Glazer was offering better prices on products to large retailers at the expense of smaller competitors. This is part of a sort of broader thing that the FTC and really the current administration is doing to try and encourage competition in the market across a variety of industries. But here it's affecting the Bev Alc space. It's in its very early stages. It could take years. It probably will take years. It may or may not lead to anything at all. But it's worth noting it's also consistent with other cases, like I said, that the FTC is taking on. They opened a similar probe into Coca-Cola and Pepsi in the soft drink space. There's also things in the tech space and different things like that. But it's hitting the alcohol industry with Southern Glazer, and we felt it was worth reporting on. So, interesting.
They ship everything. They're huge. So when he says they are number one, they're number one. they ship a lot of stuff. So they got caught. And hopefully they can figure it out.
They got caught playing favorites. No blame.
All right, winners of the New York State Craft Beer Competition have been announced. It is out. It is online. Let me just say right first and foremost, that is a very large trophy. If you were part of this wonderful competition, I hope, I would be running for that trophy. It's the 2023 Governor's Cup for the state's top beer went to Genesee Brew House, their Hellas, from Genesee Brewery in Rochester, New York. The New York Brewery of the Year is Wayward Lane Brewing out of the Mohawk Valley. We should get them on the show. There are plenty of...
Give it up for those top prize winners.
Absolutely. There are lots of categories, amber and dark lagers, amber red, British, American, Irish, and Scottish, double IPA, regular IPA, Belgian, other, coffee, chocolate, spice, and other adjunct beer, non-sour. Lots of categories. We did want to give a shout out to some, I love this, Hop alumni, Grimm, which is in my backyard, which is amazing, and our friends at 6 Point. Well done, guys. They won some awards. They're doing their thing. They're doing really well. There are a lot of breweries that I have seen just like out and about. I mean, for me, New York makes sense. Kings County Brewers Collective, KCBC, are literally a 5-minute walk from my house. So it's kind of dangerous, but they have killer beer. They're on here quite a bit. Great South Bay Brewery, Wayward Lane again, just to name a few. Naked Dove Brewing. I wonder how they got their name. Am I right? Congrats to all the winners. We love a good beer competition for the state of New York. That is fun. And yeah.
Chicago. Let's move to another city now. Chicago. Guess what? Big news for you. Not big news for the rest of us, but big news for you. Lagunitas is reopening their tap room in your city. Yes, let's get pumped about it. From a press release that Lagunitas put out, something big is happening. That would be something like Little Something Something, which is their beer name.
I get it.
Yeah. Lagunitas, not necessarily craft beer, but it's like one of those that are like a work in a pinch. It's like you're in the gas station, you're looking at a bunch of shitty options. They have Lagunitas. Sure.
100%. Lagunitas is at the top of, Lagunitas is like the sixth man in the NBA. Like, he's not part of your starting lineup, but, when you need someone to come in and, get a couple rebounds, Lagunitas, you're in.
Gabe has basketball on the mind. It's one of the old craft beer companies, right? And so the reason we say they're not craft beer now is because they were bought out by Anheuser-Busch, I believe. And so their beer has declined, but they have this cool space in Chicago. It's been closed for about 3 years and they are finally reopening it. It's a 300,000 square foot space. It's known as their quote unquote beer sanctuary, and it is reopening on April 13th, very soon, after a 3-year hiatus. It originally closed 3 years ago due to old Mother Rona, and has been in hibernation ever since. It's in the Douglas Park neighborhood, if I haven't said that, from the press release that they put out. We've missed our Windy City friends and family who have been waiting and asking for this day to come. All I can say is thank you for your patience and welcome back. And it looks like a really cool space. It looks huge. It looks fun. It looks full of beer. It says our doors are open to all kinds and creeds, punk rockers, misfits, Ivy Leaguers, weirdos, Waldos, sparkle ponies, and everything in between. Come as you are. We always have a spot for you at our bar. That's very cool. 32 draft lines, food, all the things.
Let me tell you, the Windy City is a fun place to be. It is great. They're just I'm going to sound so weird. I'm going to sound like a hipster when I say this, but it's just the vibe is just so fun and cool. And it's got the New York City vibes with the relaxed vibe of LA. It's a great combination of if you and I, if our cities combined, it might be Chicago.
And had a baby, it'd be Chicago.
There we go.
Chicago's cool. And their pizza is not pizza, but it's very good. It's very, very good.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
We're starting some shit. All right.
Starting some shit. We are going to end the news and notes by we are going to offer this episode to Jerome Jerry Steinman. He was the founding Beer Marketers Insights. He is a beer industry veteran. He passed away last week at the age of 99. He knew what he was doing. He was the Beer Marketing Insights is the leading trade publication for the U.S. brewing industry. He was, kind of the head of that. He spent his whole life in beer, more or less. And he often referred to himself as Lucky Jerry. So Jerry, sir, thank you for your service. This one is for you. A life well lived and a life well beered. Thank you, sir. We applaud you for this episode.
Yeah. This episode is for Jerry. And as we always say, thank you for your service to the beer world, sir. You will be missed. Okay, weird pivot here, but I'm gonna make a toast now.
Let's get happy again.
I'm gonna bring us back up, but you know what? Because it's Wicked Weed, I'm gonna do it with the toast music typically reserved for Halloween. But why not?
Oh, okay, all right. I was expecting to hear a Broadway show tune, but
no.
Great.
Okay, raise your glasses. Eve in the garden gives Adam a hard-on, and no one will pardon the snake. Look who invents him and later torments him, then makes us repent our mistakes. Children and carousels, postcards and Christmas bells, telling you time has gone by. Wishes and wishing wells, witches cast switching spells, making it rain in July. Princes and billy goats, horses and curses, something wicked this way comes. Towers of Babylon, give me power to babble on. Something wicked this way comes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Adam's got a hard-on. Nice.
I read that line and I thought, yeah, this is it. I don't care what the rest of this is about. That's amazing.
Yeah. I didn't even think of Something Wicked This Way Comes from the ever popular Shakespeare show, the one where you can't say the name.
She Who Shall Not Be Named?
We don't say it. We're not in a theater, but we don't say it anyway because, well, we're weird. So get over it. But well done. Adam does, in fact, have a hard-on, and I wonder how many times we can say that in this episode.
That's the devil on God. All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the doctor will see you now. Oh, yeah.
2 dudes, 1 beer, and it's the Dr. Dank IPA. Listen, you already know from the title alone, Steven's going to love this beer.
Mm-hmm.
It's 7.1% ABV. IBUs are at 65. Beer Advocate has it at 91. Crushing it. Untapped 3.77. It's a West Coast IPA. You could tell that by the name. It's Dr. Dank. It is an American/West Coast style, and from the can, Dr. Dank's delectable botanicals offer the dankest of flavors to expand the mind, body, and palate. This hybrid strain of delightful dankness delivers an elevated experience.
Bruh, I can't wait to drink this beer.
Did it sound
real?
I gotta be honest with you, I couldn't even hear that, but I'm sure the listeners did. It's our Zoom. Zoom does weird things to the audio. I just saw you making a weird face, and I was like, I think there's noise happening.
Oh, well, editing's gonna be fun for you then.
Oh yeah,
it's not gonna make any sense. Whatever. Yeah, we're excited for this one. Yeah, Wicked Weed. They. Just doing research, they seemed like an awesome brewery. Dr. Dank is one of their classics, one of their go-tos, I would argue, one of the OGs. And, I just poured it. It's, a good couple inches away from me, and I can already get the smells off of it. This is going to be a hoppy, bitter IPA, and it's a style we love. It's a style we're here for. We're very excited. I have it in my glass, my Be Hoppy glass.
I've got a tulip glass. SRM chart, I'm putting it around a 7 or an 8, I think.
Yeah.
It's amber.
Orangey amber that you can't really see through. I wouldn't call it hazy. I would call it a little cloudy.
Yeah, and we talked about dankness, was it last week or 2 episodes ago, in regard to beer, and just how, the hop flower and the marijuana plant are very similar to each other. They're of the similar family, and so there is a quality of what is best described as dankness in the flower sometimes, especially in these West Coast /bitter IPAs. You get resin, you get a lot of earthy, deep citrus qualities. It's something that just makes your insides tingle, and I love it very much. It poured with a good bit of white to off-white foam with a little bit of retention, and it is a little sticky in the glass. You got some lacing going on there. Just warns you that it's got some fangs to it.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome, and this is going to be the type of beer that we gravitate toward, having grown up in New England, the whole New England IPA, blah, 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 the juicies, they're great. We love them. We're just tired of them. But this one, right off the smell, it does smell dank. It does smell very floral, very earthy, I did read online, someone wrote, it kind of smells like marijuana. Maybe a little if you're really looking for it. I don't think you're smelling this and going whoa, that's a joint. I don't think it's that, but it's got the similarities to the earthiness and to the florality that a marijuana plant would have. And I'm going to argue, if you walk any streets of New York, you'll smell it. So that's that I have the research to prove it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't get weed off it necessarily, but it is unique in terms of some of the West Coast IPAs that we smell. And what I'm characterizing it as is guava. It's very distinctly guava to me. I really like guava, especially in smoothies. And it's a tropical fruit that has a bitter or sort of piney quality to it, more even than your mango or your pineapple, right? It's that deep tropical thing that comes through in this very much to me. It's incredibly hoppy, it's floral, it's definitely fruity, and there's a bouquet of melon, of all the other tropicals. The mango's in there, the pineapple's in there, but the guava quality of it is so predominant to me that it stands out, and that's where I think you might associate that with weed. I don't per se, but I can see where somebody would come at it with that lens, I guess.
I guess so, yeah. We should drink this. Before we do, I'd like to give myself a quick little humble brag, because we are pouring this for Jerry Steinman, but I'd also love to raise a toast to, as of this recording, the day we are recording, marks my 6-year anniversary of living in New York. So that hit me earlier today, and I said, "Oh wow, it's been 6 years in New York."
Today, the day we're recording this,
not the day the episode comes out, the day we're recording, and so wow. I was looking through Instagram memories and just posting about it, and I was like, "Wow, this is here." So it's just crazy. I've spent 6 years paying very high payments and rent, and the fun never stops. So I just wanted to very humbly brag about that.
Good for you, buddy. I fucked off after 4 years, so good for you.
Steven got into grad school and never came back.
I said, yeah, I need the sun.
He said, "What's the weather like?" "Oh yeah, no. Have fun, kids."
Good for you. You know what's funny is when I go back, this is totally off topic, but when I go back to New York now, LA has won, because I am scared a little bit when I'm in that city now. Whereas I used to be a tough New Yorker. Now I'm I don't want to be yelled at like that. Everybody just take a breath, calm down. This is not the vibe. That's me now. But
you could smile at someone and get yelled at in New York. Fuck you smiling at me for? It's Jesus, okay, my God, you're having a bad day. There's no
need for that level of aggression when we're just trying to get coffee and get on with our day. But good for you. That's great. And New York is the greatest city in the world, and I do miss it on some level. So good for you.
So we have a lot of things.
Here's
to cheers
to 6
to.
more.
Oh God.
All
Cheers,
right.
everyone. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, the doctor is in. The doctor has given me a diagnosis. It's called being awesomeism. Awesome.
Nice. Well done.
No. Awesomenosis. I'm trying to, like, you know how Stick It to Demondiosis is from School of Rock? Like, I'm trying to think of something like that, and it just didn't work. I've been drinking way too much lately.
You are flying solo right now.
Oh, man. I know. Okay. It is hoppy. It is delicious. It is fruity, but in a subtle way that just accents the taste a little bit for me. In a good way. The carbonation is medium to strong. It's very solid, and I feel like it just kind of brings everything together. It does taste earthiness. You get that off the hops. Hoppy, bitter, fun, bitter bite. It's got a bite to it, but it's not. I don't know. I would say it's more of a nibble. It's not going to bite your face off, but it does have, like, if you do like this type of beer, you will enjoy this. It's more subtle and flavorful rather in this sort of West Coast style. I did read on Beer Advocate, someone wrote that it tasted like cardboard. Whoever wrote that, you're just wrong. I don't know what happened to you that day. You're probably from New York, but you're incorrect. It doesn't taste like cardboard. It tastes like slight hoppy, not slight, hoppiness, bite, bitterness, grapefruit rind off the smell, definitely off the taste. So it's got that little bit of florality and fruitiness that kind of brings it all together. I've got nothing negative to say so far.
Yeah, I would agree with a lot of what you said. What I think is interesting about it is it reminds me of when we have some of those, rich, like, chocolate stouts with a lot of sweet dessert-like aromas on the nose, and then you take a sip of it and it's not quite that. In that the smell on this is so tropical and fruity, and the flavor is not as sweet or juicy, I guess, as that led me to think it might be, which makes sense for the style, but it was a little surprising. Like, I guess that there's just not as much bitter resinous quality on the nose as there are on some other West Coast IPAs. So it's not as sweet in the mouth. It is very bitter to me. It has that very bitter, grassy, earthy quality. All of these things I love. If you don't like them, you definitely won't want this beer. Like, I just know that there are plenty of people who are kind of the polar opposite of Gabe and I, or where Gabe and I are at the moment, which is that they never liked IPAs until they found the hazy IPAs. And so
the New England Juicies, you mean?
Exactly. So that's for those people, this beer will not do it. This is definitely an ode to the West Coast style, to the bitter style, which I love because it's a style that is not seen as much, but I also think it does have a twist given that this is a brewery that's so good at hazy IPAs and so experimental. I think there is more florality in it, more tropical qualities, especially on the nose, that make it unique in terms of the West Coast style. Like, it doesn't quite, it's definitely a different take from like a Dogfish 60 minute, you know what I mean? Which is, I go to as like the template of like the standard IPA.
Yeah, for sure. 7.1, I would say yes to that tasting that way. I feel like if you really know what you're doing and you're professionals like us, you'll know, like, okay, this is something to be sipped on, not necessarily chugged. I wouldn't run through this. I don't think this beer allows you to do that, which is good. I do really like the subtle, I want to say like subtle softness of the first sip. It's bitter and bitey in a way that doesn't make it hard to drink. It makes it kind of fun in the mouth and on your palate as it goes down. So 91 on Beer Advocate, I get that. I can see that 100%. This brewery clearly knows what they're doing in terms of the West Coast style.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I mean, I want to emphasize that if it sounded like I was like not saying that. It's very, very good. It's unique to me in terms of West Coast IPAs in that, without being outside of the style, there's subtle differences, but it is different. I would be curious to try. They have a double version of this, the Dr. Dank Jack Frost, and I would be fascinated to try that because I wonder, how that added ABV would play with the flavors that are already in here. Would it be more resinous, or would it be just a more alcoholic version of this? Like, that would be really fun to try, in addition to some of the other ones they have, which are...
Yeah, that's a perfect segue. Let's meet the other doctors. We're looking at their Dr. Dank IPAs. They're what we are drinking. Looking at Dr. Dank Citrus Passion Fruit Haze. It is a hazy IPA. This appears to be a New England style version. It's a double IPA with tangerine and passion fruit, and it looks pretty excellent.
Yep, they also have one of these with pineapple, which I would be interested to try, just given some of the ones that we've had on the show that have had pineapple in them. It's this IPA basically, but it's called Pineapple Dream. This IPA, Dreamiest New World hops with real pineapple for a tropical resinous blast.
The Jack Frost, as you mentioned, is their double. I would assume this comes out during the Christmas time, but I think it is a winter. They call it their winterized IPA. It's an immense West Coast IPA is what they're calling it. Keep you warm on the cooler winter nights. So if you're looking for a Crimbus beer, that could be one.
Yeah, it's and it's similar to this one in terms of the hops that are in there, I would imagine. See, we didn't get the hop information on this, but the Jack Frost, at least the last time they brewed it, was with Amarillo, Centennial, and Simcoe in a dry hop form. So that's interesting. That blend of hops is not a blend we see very often, so that may contribute to some of the tropical aromas that I was talking about with the Simcoe and stuff. But then the flavor is dominated by that, what I attribute to like the bitterness of like Amarillo and Centennial.
And then they've got their Dr. Dank Daily Haze. This is the lower ABV hazy IPA. I think this is, here we go. The sessionable hazy IPA delivers your daily dose of extra fresh dankness. It's coming in at 5.4%. So if you want a fun IPA and you don't want to feel hungover, you'll go in the Dr. Dank Daily Haze.
Let's meet Wicked Weed, shall we? This is, as we mentioned, out of Asheville, North Carolina. It was founded originally in 2012. A pair of families that were lifelong friends came together. That would be the Dickinsons and the Guthys. And they brought their unique talents to the table and said, let's get wicked. And here we are. It was originally known for pushing the envelope by offering unique draft beers focusing largely on the IPA. They have a lot of IPAs. We were just going through their Dr. Dank series, which is obviously entirely IPAs, but we'll get into more of it later. But on their original lineup, I mean, their original flagship IPA makes a lot of the lists that people put together of like, here are 12 of the best IPAs, blah, blah, blah. So known for that very much. They have since expanded into more, including a lot of barrel-aged sours, more on that later. But they are an Asheville, North Carolina staple. They're operating 4 brew pubs, I believe, at the time now. Yep. Which, does that include the airport? I'm not even sure. They were going to open one in the airport. I'm not even sure if that came to fruition. But just one of those, excellent regional craft breweries that, like, we don't have as much visibility on because of where we are, but it's the kind of brewery similar to Weathered Souls, which we had on, similar to, what's another one? Bell's was another one. We've done some in the Midwest that have been this way. Boulevard, Two Roads for sure. It's one of those that, like, if you're in the North Carolina area, you're going to know Wicked Weed.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And it seems to be, based off of the photos and based off of their locations, they have 4 different unique locations, 3 in Asheville, 1 in Candler, North Carolina. So, I mean, their distribution all over the state is, as you said, a staple. They are North Carolinian through and through, and everyone knows who they are. They seem to be really doing it well. They are home to the Funkatorium. The Funkatorium, located in the south slope of Asheville, is noted as the East Coast's first sour beer dedicated tap room. Now, as we know, Two Roads has their area 2. Do they have a tap room? That I'm not sure about. I don't know the logistics of how that works, so they could be one of 2. But if not, Funkatorium is the first. They feature over a dozen varieties of different sours on draft. Visitors can expect a full immersion into the old world way of experiencing and appreciating beer of the sour variety, while also checking out a fun food menu to pair with the beers. It seems really cool. It's got this outdoor patio area. Just seems like a fun, chill vibe in good old North Carolina.
Yeah, I believe the assertion was that I think the Funkatorium opened well before Two Roads' Area 2 did, and I think that the assertion is this, at the time, was the very first sour dedicated tap room. I'm not sure how true or not true that is, but they said it, so sure, we'll go with that. This brewery also is big into sustainability. It's one of those breweries, we see this often, but it's always worth mentioning whenever we see it that this is a brewery that focuses a lot on their sustainability initiatives. They are partnered with a number of core partnerships. They focus on a bunch of different things, and there's a bunch of different, numbers that you can read about around packaging, recycling, and circularity, around the way they power the brewery, where they, send the waste, and where they get the power to power the whole thing. So it's a big part of what they do. I'm not going to kind of go through this entire impact report because I will bore you to tears, but it's good to see a brewery doing that. And it's nice to know that you're supporting a company that gives back to the earth, especially, as we say all the time, in the industry of beer, which is an agricultural industry. It is, we don't think of it necessarily as like farming and stuff, but it is. I mean, it starts as a plant and grains and things of that nature. And
then it looks like this.
And then it tastes like sweet deliciousness.
Yeah.
But they partner with, like I said, a whole bunch of different groups in Asheville and nationally. They donate a lot of money to more than 25 different nonprofits with a bunch of different focuses. They donated $1.6 million to nonprofit organizations in 2021 through the launch of a program that they call Beers That Build. They expanded their distribution as well as part of that. So it's a big part of what they do. It's always important and always worth mentioning every time we see it. So good on you for giving back to the earth, Wicked Weed.
Well done, Wicked Weed. And I'm also just finding right now, part of their website says, not a lot of brewers do this. We want to hear from you. They have a button to contact the brewery if you want to participate in the conversation of how they can help more, what more they can do. If you have any questions, they want you to reach out. In an effort to continuously reduce our impact, we would love to hear from you and how we can grow our sustainability initiatives. If you know of something that they can improve on, if you have an idea, if you have a question, if you have a thought, if you have a suggestion, reach out to this brewery. They want to hear from all because they want to do the best for all of us and for all of North Carolina. And they want to make, everyone proud. And, anytime we see this, it can easily be described as beer for a cause, and that's what's better than that, and we're all here for that. So good on you guys.
And in terms of distribution, we know for sure that they are available in, obviously, North Carolina and other markets, including Georgia, DC, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts. I don't have a full list of where they distribute. They expanded their North Carolina distribution in about 2021, I think was the expansion. They started distributing it as early as 2014. So they're in a bunch of different states. They're clearly not big in California or New York, or we'd have more beers. But they are available outside of North Carolina. If you can find their beers, definitely worth a shot. It's honestly worth a trip to North Carolina to visit.
I don't know if you've ever been. I don't know if you've been to Charlotte. I don't know if you've been to Greensboro, but I had some fun. I had a good time. Hot as hell, let me tell you, but good time all around. I'm sure Adam Thielen knows this brewery well now that he's on the Panthers. So maybe the Panthers are drinking some high quality Wicked Weed beers.
Wicked Weird. That should be what they call it. Funkatorium is great, but you should change it to Wicked Weird.
Wicked Weird.
That's good.
You're welcome, brewery.
Send us beer. Let's last word this beer we're drinking. I just took another sip of it, and I once again was just surprised by how much like tropical guava hit me in the face as it came towards my face on the nose, and then how much I didn't get that in the mouth, which I think is a good thing. I don't want a beer that tastes like a smoothie, so I'm not saying it should be that way. It's just interesting. It's not something you see as much in the IPA world, so I wanted to throw that out. Mouthfeel is nice. Like Gabe said, it's not crushable. It's exactly what I'm looking for in an IPA. I think it's just unique enough to stand out, but ultimately it's just a solid West Coast IPA.
I have been to, in the past like week and a half, 2 weeks, I've been to 2 different breweries, and it's usually started with a flight and ended with one single beer after the flight. This would be the beer that after I did the flight, first off, this would be in my flight. Second of all, after the flight is done, it's like, all right, let me get one more before I leave. It would be this one. It's just so solid all around. It's the typical West Coast style that we love and have appreciative of. And it's 7.1%, so it makes you feel things. Clearly, you guys can hear the way I'm talking. I'm not making any sense whatsoever. It's great. I really like it. Knockout, home run, slam dunk, way to go.
Yeah, peeling back the curtain on our recording process, we are recording way earlier in the day than we normally do, and I think that makes it harder to talk. I think that's pretty much what we've learned. Is that
we're doing a little bit of day. Well, you're doing day drinking. I'm just drinking.
Oh, I'm fully day drinking. I woke up like an hour ago. No, I'm kidding.
Jesus,
but
Steven.
But it's earlier than we're used to. We are night owls.
Oops.
Okay, with that, but you know what? You know who's got it on lock for the daytime shift is Bob Ross, and
that's true.
He's always up for his early morning run. You know, he's an early bird, and he's here to talk about. What am I talking about? What am I saying?
I don't know, man. Are we drunk already? Jesus.
All right, Bob.
Can Art and Crafts.
Yeah, say hello to Bobby McFerrin. That's not his name, it's Bob Ross, but I wanted to make it Irish for whatever reason. Okay, Wicked Weed Brewing, Dr. Dank. We only have the one beer, so we're going to make this quick. As you can see on YouTube, it's a little hard to see because it's teal. It's not green, but it's almost matching the green screen behind me, but this can is fun. There's a lot going on. We've got Dr. Dank in big bold letters. We've got what looks to be the cartoon version of Breaking Bad's like equipment. Like it just looks like a scientist. It looked like Heisenberg set this up, and it's just the cartoon version with a bunch of crazy colors and flowers, and it's Dr. Dank, it makes sense. You can make it synonymous with drugs, but it's just a fun idea. There's smoke coming out. There's a bunch of florality. I think it's fun. I think there's no way in hell you'd be able to confuse this beer with another beer based off of the pictures, but also based off of the Dr. Dank lettering. And as y'all should know by now, that gives it a solid 10 out of 10. This beer can artwork is amazing. It's awesome. And I'm giving it the 10 because based off of the other beers, it's also dope artwork. Like, it's not just this one. If we had other beers, we would be talking about it. It's great. Go look at it online. Bob Ross is here. Bob Ross agrees. Bob Ross is hitting that dank and he's hitting it hard, but he has a right to, so leave him alone and let him do it. That is another great edition of Can Arts and Crafts.
There's also hemp seed in this beer, which we did not mention earlier, but probably should have because it does most likely affect the flavor and also contributes to why they call it that. Hemp seed is always associated with weed because of what it is, but it does have a flavor. It's obviously, there's no THC in this. It's not a weed beer, but They do have a sort of nutty flavor, and that probably contributes to some of the bitterness, but also some of the just uniqueness of the flavor. Probably should have mentioned it earlier, but we're mentioning it now, so get off our backs. But that's part of what makes this beer unique. In terms of what else the brewery has to offer, their flagship series includes, like I mentioned, an IPA called the Pernicious IPA. That's the one I was referring to that often gets boasted as, one of the go-to IPAs on sort of the top 12 lists and stuff like that. They have others too, Hop Spectrum IPA. They have a Freak of Nature Double IPA or DIPA.
DIPA, bro.
And Appalachia, that's their session IPA if you want a lighter sipper, hazy.
Nice can.
Different things like that. Yeah, the can artwork is really cool across the board.
You see why I gave it a 10 out of 10 now, right?
I do.
I'm not crazy.
Yeah. No, it's definitely worth it.
In terms of their barrel-aged specialty category, these are all sours. This is fun. I like this. You don't see this a lot. You see a lot of bourbon barrel-aged, triple, quadruple IPA, stout, what have you. These are all sours, and they look and sound incredible. We've got Angel of Darkness, Black Angel, Chocolate-Covered Black Angel, Framboise Morte, Golden Angel, L'Amour Morte, Red Angel, White Angel. They sound incredible. Real quick, the Angel of Darkness, just a 10%, no big deal, totally fine. Barrel-aged American Sour Ale with boysenberries, raspberries, blackberries, and cherries. Damn, Holy Ghost, I want it.
Are there blueberries in it?
No, Steven, you can't play the drop. It doesn't make sense.
Fuck it, I do what I want! I don't need permission. I have the soundboard.
Oh man, I'm so glad we made a podcast. Oh, that's great.
Shit. If barrel-aged beers are your thing, but sours are not, don't worry. I'm about to talk dirty to you. They have a bourbon barrel-aged Guilty Pleasures Dessert Stout 4-pack. These are all 12.2% ABV, and it includes their Milk and Cookies Stout with golden raisins and cinnamon. Yum. The S'mores with chocolate and vanilla. The German Chocolate Cake with chocolate and coconut. And the Espresso Cheesecake with coffee and vanilla. Bang! Yes.
Exclamation
and
point!
they've been put in a barrel. And that's
exclamation point indeed. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. So this brewery has something for you, something to meet your fancy. They have the sours, they have the barrel aged, they have the IPAs, they have it all. In addition, some of the just like I saw some red ales. I saw definitely
the classic stuff. If you're not looking, I see a Milk and Cookies Imperial Stout, no big deal, 8.7%. Come on.
So Wicked Weed, check them out. Don't sleep on them. Maybe you've heard their name, maybe you haven't, but we're here to tell you if you're outside the North Carolina market, there is a brewery down there in North Carolina doing some shit. And we'd love to give them another episode when we had more of their beers. So maybe that'll happen in the future.
Help us help you. That's teamwork.
People helping people. It's powerful stuff.
God.
All right. It is one beer down. Somehow we've produced nearly an hour of content.
Yeah, what's wrong with us? Why are we lagging? Let's get a move on and let's go to last call.
Last call.
And our last call this week is a little bit serious. We're going to talk about something that's heavy, and that is climate change. And, it needs to be stopped, and we need to do our part, much like Wicked Weed Brewing, to contribute to sustainability. But I think one study out of the UK has finally pinpointed the real problem, which is that a bunch of cows are ripping ass. And that's why the earth is getting hotter. Yes, you heard me right. According to The Mirror, which is my favorite source of insane news, gaseous cattle are blamed for fueling emissions by belching and breaking wind, as the Brits say.
I love that they're to blame. Like global warming, we could all create a whole new episode about that topic. And yet someone in the UK was like, well, these cows have gas. It's their problem. It's their fault.
Yeah, we're going there. We're going there, people. The article is really about that they've come up with a solution, which is they made some kind of pill, supplement, something that they could give these cows in their food. They're known as methane suppressants, which will apparently stop them from breaking wind. I don't have time to get into how unhealthy that sounds for the cows. It sounds terrible. It's just gonna build up inside them, and then they're gonna
explode.
But that's what the farmers there are gonna do. Apparently, farm animals are blamed for about 14% of global carbon emissions.
I can't believe that. That can't be real. My God.
Why farm animals? Why not all animals? I mean, look. I's be farting, you's be farting, all God's peoples be farting.
Everyone, your dad, your aunt, your next door neighbor.
Yeah, that hot girl on that TV show you're watching.
Oh yeah, she's ripping ass.
Why are we all allowed to fart up a storm, but cows have to be stopped? Why are
cows are crazy, man. We eat them for like nourishment, and yet at the end of the day, they can't just eat grass and fart in peace. Like we have to, no, we need to put a stop to it.
It just seems so bizarre that we're focusing on cows, but nothing else. Not horses, not a blue whale. That's when that one rips one off, it's got to cause, that's how the tsunamis happen, I think.
That makes a lot of sense. Like that's why like when it's like thunderstorming out, you see the waves go up and down. It's not because of the weather. It's because those freaking whales
are shitting themselves over it.
It's because they ate garlic and they're allergic, and so they just have IBS, and it's just like a whole thing.
Wow.
How strong was this beer? 7.1. Okay, yeah.
This is like the most sober we've ever been on one of these episodes, and it's our.
You speak for yourself.
We're talking about farting cows. So people in the UK intend to force their farmers to give livestock this thing because apparently the amount of methane cows release causes global warming. And obviously global warming. Look, we're not arguing that global warming is not a problem. It is. I just find the solution here to be arbitrary at best.
Yeah.
Like I just don't understand. So why don't we give our people farting suppressants? Make humans bottle it up too. What about dogs? Do dogs fart?
Isn't there like a pill that people take? It's called Beano or something like that. Like take Beano and there will be no gas or something like that. Isn't that the slogan? I could have sworn it was.
Not a sponsor, but hey, Beano. If that's your name, reach out.
Hop listeners, we want to dedicate this episode to Beano. Like, how amazing would that be if they sponsored us? Anyone from Beano, like, hit us up.
Hit us up. We don't like to endorse products necessarily that we use. We just want to endorse products that it'd be fun to do a spot for. That's really all. That's really all it comes down to.
Manscaped.
Yeah, we have a list, and it's mostly just around our own immaturity.
Yeah, it's mostly just shit that makes us laugh. But yeah, cows are farting a lot, and we need to put a stop to it. Hands in.
Cows are farting, and that's why it's raining in California.
Y'all need water. Okay. I just can't believe it's real. I can't believe, like, I shouldn't be, even for the internet, I shouldn't be shocked anymore, but like, someone took time out of their day. Some editor at some magazine, Mirror, said, you know what? I've got a job to do. Excuse me, Karen, I can't go to your party. I need to work. And they had to type this up.
Well, more importantly, this is a study. There's science that went into this. There's been dollars spent. There's been chemists hard at work using lab rats to figure out how we can stop cows from farting. There's a lot of problems here.
No wonder our taxes are so high.
Well, it's the UK, and y'all should deal with that.
No wonder that conversion rate kind of sucks. There we go.
Oh boy. All right. I don't know if I have anything else to say on this, but I just wanted everyone to know that it's happening. I'm Paul revering it right now. I'm spreading the good word.
Guys, I think it's finally time we all recognize that cows fart. It happens. Like, don't be afraid. Just admit it. It's a thing, and we're here for you if anyone needs to talk to us about it.
Yay! And with that, we're going to go. Guys, I'm not going to lie. It's been a weird one, but that's where we're at. It's April, and we're getting weird here on the hop. So thank you for sticking it out if you made it this far. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another brand new episode. Until then, drink good beer, love each other, and hopefully the spring weather is just around the corner.
Peace out, fam. See you soon.